where Dragon Quest Builders has kind of been eating up a lot of my time.
That could be it too.
Yeah, because I've been playing the Switch version since I can take that with me to work and play on my breaks, and yeah, that game has kind of dominated.
It makes me wonder how many people just now take their Switches to work now. Especially in call center environments, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I mean, I use the boxing game and the Dragon Quest Builders to fill the void.
That was one of those things that I wished I could have done when I was working at call centers back a couple of years ago, is being able to take like a 3DS or whatever. But at that point, the call centers I was working for did not want mobile or gaming devices, so they actually asked that you put your, like, because at that point we had maybe early iPhones. So like Generation 1 or Generation 2.
Did you hear that gunshot too?
I did. And that was not you.
No, it wasn't.
So, yeah. Monstrous horrors are, in fact, in this hospital. But yeah, they actually made you put them in a tote before you got on the call center floor.
Yeah, my company was somewhat strict, but not like to that degree. They just kind of operate on the, hey, no phones near your desk, but if you're in the break room, they're not gonna...
Yeah.
They're not gonna...
Oh.
Ooh, cutscene.
And a little bit of blood.
Well, that explains the gunshot.
Yeah. And who are you, sir? Besides the fact that you have no eyes.
Hold it.
Okay, that guy...
Stop. Don't shoot. Wait. I'm not here to fight. My name is Harry Mason. I'm in town on vacation.
Thank God, another human being.
Do you work here?
I'm Dr. Michael Kaufman. I work at this hospital.
So maybe you can tell me what's going on.
I really can't say. I was taking a nap in the staff room. When I woke up, it was like this. Everyone seems to have disappeared. And it's snowing out, this time of year. Something's gone seriously wrong.
Yeah, think?
Did you see those monsters?
No.
Have you ever seen such aberrations?
Not at all.
No, not really.
Ever even heard of such things?
Well, I mean, he is a writer.
You and I both know creatures like that don't exist.
We don't know that at all.
Yeah. Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter.
My
She's only
daughter?
7. Short, black hair.
She's missing. I'm sorry. But with all those monsters around, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry, I didn't mean to alarm you. Your wife, she's here with you?
She died 4 years ago. Now it's just me and my daughter.
I see. I'm sorry.
You must be fun at parties.
Yeah.
Well, I'd better be going. I can't just sit around here doing nothing.
So long. Good luck out there.
Okay, one thing I gotta say now. I hate to do the comparison again, but like the dub for Resident Evil, the original, is hilariously bad. And I've always kind of had the suspicion that, I'm not saying they knew what they were walking into, but they knew the budget they were walking into. And so at that point, they hammed everything. All right? This is, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's very woody.
Yeah.
A lot of the delivery is very woody.
Yeah, I mean, and just with the way everything's presented, it's just, you can tell that the people behind this were
I am a
fans of
doctor. I am not portraying a plank of wood.
I was half expecting him to start going like, I am the arm.
We're meeting G over there. Yeah, like, I am a doctor. I do doctory things. And then, of course, it's like, wait, don't shoot.
Yeah, which
Even though he already shot.
Yeah, and somehow missed. I mean,
he was aiming at his belly.
yeah,
too.
it was like point blank. So either Like, Harry's like the luckiest guy in the world,
He must be.
or the doctor's a really bad shot. I really hope he's not a surgeon.
Or maybe the gun's for show and it's got nothing but blanks. But at that point, then how do you explain the pterodactyl on the ground?
Well, I mean, unless it's, if you buy into the idea that this is all inside someone's head, well, maybe the blanks work on those creatures because the creatures don't exist.
Could be. I do like that justification.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're in the hospital, let me update the guide here. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. I know that a lot of people have love for this, but I can start to see, again, this is the first Silent Hill. I'm not expecting miracles to be done, especially when you consider when in the PlayStation's lifespan this came out.
And just what was going on at Konami at the time as well. Because again, Team Silent were basically the team of rejects that...
Yeah, this wasn't the time where we were paying legit voice talent, all right? There were voice actors that were doing a lot of work. For example, Steve Bloom has a lot of early PlayStation credits. But he has those credits under different names. So at that point, like, because there's not any formal work, it's not even considered official. In fact, some voice actors wouldn't even do video game stuff because they thought it would hurt their career.
Yeah, plus the other thing to consider is that with Resident Evil, the reason it was dubbed the way it was, and the reason the acting was so hammy in the live action scenes, is that they were initially going to do a Japanese dub of all the dialogue. But then they decided to make it more realistic for Japanese audiences. They left the dialogue in English and had English voice actors dubbing it over. And basically, imagine a bunch of screenwriters writing a script and then translating it into a language that they do not speak and expecting it to make sense. Because that's the other problem with the dialogue, is that the dialogue in the original Resident Evil...
Yeah, and compare that to modern day gaming industry, you'd have two separate sets of writers. Like, you'd have the original writer for the game, and then you'd have a translator.
Yeah, you have a translator, and then you also have another writer working with the translator.
Rework things from Japanese sensibilities to American sensibilities.
Yeah, to a way that will actually make sense, because the script in Resident Evil, when you look at the subtitles in the Japanese release, it's all, like, it makes sense in Japanese because it was a literal translation.
And the other thing you have to consider is that when the translation was happening, more than likely, I'm not saying that they were actively on the phone, but they were definitely having to keep tabs with the Japanese team because the Japanese writers still had kind of veto power. If you wanted to retranslate, let's just say something like Silent Hill Power, and they didn't want you to call it Hamburger Power, you couldn't do that. And they could say, no, you need to actually call it this.
Yeah, that's why you end up with weird anime titles like Knights and Magic, where it's Knights 'S and Magic, even though it makes no sense. But the people who were releasing the anime in the States were like, nope, they wouldn't let us change it. We tried explaining it to them, but nope, they wanted that apostrophe.
Or occasionally, like when voice studios want to take, because this happens a lot in the anime industry too, where there might be a popular manga and US studios know that their audience follows the manga. The perfect example of this is Dragon Ball, because a lot of people complain about Goku's lines, and occasionally when they rewrite it, they can make the lines sound more manga-esque, but they have to get it approved by Toei.
Yep.
And if they don't, they have to do it the way that Toei tells them.
And then on top of that, especially if you're dubbing for TV airings, you have that factor to consider, because back in the day when anime would be shown during like kids programming blocks, back when Toonami would be at 6 o'clock instead of, in the middle of the night, that was another thing that affected. It was like, okay, well, we've got to make this dialogue age appropriate for this time block, which is why the four kids dubbing One Piece was a nightmare, because a show that was not meant for kids.
What's sad is I've only ever seen the 4Kids One Piece, and everybody tells me, like, you need to go back and watch the new dub of
the Funimation dub, which I saw a little bit. The one thing I dislike about the Funimation dub is that it took out a lot of the accents that they gave the characters, which, to 4Kids' credit, it at least made the characters feel unique, particularly Shanks and Mihawk.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Funimation dub, they go with no one has accents, and it sounds kind of boring.
Really quick, so we found a vial on the ground. It looks intentionally shattered. So, do we know what's in there? Did it say it was blood? Books are scattered around the desk. Nothing else special here.
So basically, it looks like someone was searching for something here.
Could it have been the doctor? I'm a doctor. Glass vial I shattered it. It's not just broken and smashed on purpose.
So it doesn't say what it is, but guessing by the color, I think we're supposed to assume that it's blood.
Or wine, one of the two. I mean, this looks like a doctor's office, so there could be a wine cabinet somewhere.
Maybe. Although I usually thought doctors were more kind of like bourbon kind of guys. But
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah.
Some might prefer wine, some might prefer bourbon.
I don't think there's an official, like, red-colored bourbon, though.
Nah. I mean, unless the color of the tile makes
I don't
it
know.
look
Like,
red.
most of my expertise, like, I'm putting fingers up, my expertise in alcohol comes from lawyer friends.
Yeah,
For
neither
some
one.
reason, lawyers really love, like good whiskeys.
Yeah.
I've never been able to explain it, but apparently, like, there's just something in college that tells them, oh yeah, we need to have a very great knowledge of things like whiskey and scotch and cognac, stuff like that. Never been able to understand it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, people, neither of us drink, so we don't know diddly about alcohol.
No.
I keep saying Flanderisms today.
I know you do, and it's driving me nuts. It's like, I diddly do there, neighbor. I don't know diddly about alcohol, though, diddly. Okay, so we have a cockroach problem. That's not good.
Yeah, but at least we have a map. So we've got the morgue, the storeroom.
They're gonna make us go into the morgue, aren't they?
Of course they are.
It's a horror game.
Yeah, any horror story set in a hospital has to have a sequence involving the morgue somehow. I remember that there was a horror film that one of my teachers in my high school, he wasn't actually working on the film, he was part of the behind the scenes crew, so doing the documentary for behind the scenes, and it was basically, I don't know the basic premise, I just knew it was basically a zombie film set in a hospital, and it was the cadavers that were coming back to life.
Yeah, that's the in-house. Oh, wait. So press the switch.
So basically this is the like emergency backup generator stuff to power the operating rooms and stuff like that.
Okay, so
And by turning it on, we probably triggered something.
a roar. Sounds like
Let's see what's on this other side.
lock is jammed. Oh, good. Maybe we won't have to go into the morgue, because I think that's the morgue on the map.
Well, let's see. Well, we can't get into
No.
the morgue or the storeroom, so all that leaves is the elevator and the stairs. So let's take a
Yes.
look at the Oh, that's why. Because we have to power the elevator.
Something tells me we've got a boss fight on our hands.
Yeah, or some other spoopy encounter.
Yeah, something to that extent.
Okay, so we're in the basement.
Go to the
Let's-
highest, I guess.
Yeah. We'll work our way down.
We'll make this crap work out, I guess. Oh. Okay.
I just have to wonder what the logic was behind some of the stuff they put on the walls here. Well,
I mean,
that's-
at that point, like, I also would love to figure out the logic of placement in other Konami games. I mean, for crying out loud, Metal Gear Solid 2 is the only one that actually intentionally, for the purposes of flipping out Otacon, put posters of chicks in bikinis.
yeah.
Never happened again after that. I mean, I'm not even gonna, because
Well, I mean, there.
you technically got the whole porn thing in 4, but I don't think it was in 3.
Well, yeah, and well, having an entire battalion made up of former supermodels who are now soldiers. Well, they probably had enough mileage with that.
The B&B Corps. So hard to take them seriously, but
Yeah,
oh well.
it's a Kojima game.
Yeah.
What can you say?
I mean, I'll give credit to the voice actors or the actresses that did them. Like, some of them are pretty freaking awesome, but yeah, that's about all I'm gonna give.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going into the whole gaming stereotypes or anything like that, but the whole concept of the B&B Corps, and when you actually hear some of their stories, you actually kind of question, why did they go this direction? Why does Crying Wolf actually want to be on all fours? None of that makes sense.
All right, so
Or even better, the supposed daughter, or I can't remember. Did they actually say she was a daughter of Psycho Mantis?
not entirely sure. I actually haven't played 4. I have it, and I started the file, but then
I need to watch that cutscene again, but I think they kind of strongly hint that The Mantis, one of them, is the daughter of Psychomantis in a way.
Yeah.
And that's why that explains the psychic powers.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the psychic powers with fingers.
Yeah.
Up above.
Again, Kojima, being the cinephile, if he probably saw something in a movie, wanted to work it in.
Okay, so we're back in the doctor's office. So I kind of don't see the point of unlocking the elevator if...
Yeah, because the doors up on the first and second floor are locked, so there's probably a room here that we now have access to.
Yeah.
So this is the consultation office place.
Yep.
Let's see.
So while we're making our way through this, there is a question that I actually do have. I get asked this from time to time, but I figure I can bring it here as well as maybe on... I think I brought it on Drak and Shadow as well. It's pretty well known in previous podcasts that I've stated. The decision to have a no politics rule was pretty much one forced by me. Basically me just saying, like, this is not where I want the podcast to go. And so people take that as I basically Hitlered you all and said, this will not happen. I did technically, like, I didn't ask you guys, but I figured this out when I was developing it. So occasionally I get this question for the other panelists of the podcast. What are your thoughts on the no politics rule, and should I change it?
Honestly, I'm okay with that rule because you made a pretty strong case where, hey, it's just not what our show's about, so we kind of want to be that reprieve from politics.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I've seen it. I'm just like, and that's kind of something I'm in favor of because we're just a bunch of randos on the internet. There are much better shows out there that cover politics in a much better way.
The problem is that once, like, you can technically bring up politics and be able to get more audience that way, but then you're set into that audience, and when you have an opinion that is against what that audience believes, you're done. Like, they'll drop you like a bad habit, and that's kind of what I wanted to avoid, because, like, given my sensibilities, a lot of people have told me, like, you shouldn't listen to that podcast and you shouldn't listen to that podcast. But I find them enjoyable. I have no problem saying, and if you guys can't glean this off of the podcast and what I've talked about, yes, I tend to lean a little bit to the right. And so in those cases, like, friends will tell me, well, why do you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast? Because I find Joe Rogan entertaining. Because I think he actually asks a lot of really good questions to his guests and gets a lot of really great stories out of it. I'm not necessarily there for the political aspect. I'm there for the entertainment aspect. And to me, Joe Rogan does that. I also listen to Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin also kind of has... Oh, wait, hold on. There's a fourth floor.
Well, that's the basement.
No. There was a fourth button. There's a fourth button now. See?
Huh.
Okay, that's kind of creepy.
Well, I mean...
Like, there you go. Yeah, like,
Especially when you consider the Japanese superstition of there being no fourth floor in a hospital.
Or the Hollywood superstition you can't have a 13th of anything.
Oh, another cutscene.
Oh. Wow, this looks like an early E3 trailer. Okay. What was the point of that?
I'm assuming that was supposed to be Cheryl.
Oh. Wait, isn't she supposed to be like 7? That's pretty old. I'm just saying, that looks like an adult woman.
Well, this is Silent Hill. It messes with your What was that?
Something locked. Something tells me if you turned around, we couldn't go through the door we came in. Yep. So... Congratulations, welcome to the horror movie trope of we're stuck.
Yep.
But yeah, it wasn't that I tried to impose my will or anything like that, but it's just that was kind of my viewpoint because a lot of the podcasts I was listening to at the time, they tended to skew politically more than I did, and a lot of listeners that I tended to agree with in their chat room were like, I come here after having to deal with politics 9 to 5. And I just want to be able to crack open a cold one and be able to enjoy people talking about video games. Or be able to talk to people about, you know... And for all the people who are like, well, technically you bring up politics anyway because you bring up business politics. Business politics is a whole other animal.
Yep.
whole other. It doesn't matter about the right or left or anything like that. It's whether or not the CEO is a douchebag. Oh. Okay.
Let's keep
The
our
music just
distance.
intensified, and I think we're gonna get humanoid creatures. Yeah, we are getting humanoid creatures. Oh my gosh, wait.
It's like a weird fish woman.
Is this supposed to be a nurse? And what the hell is on her back?